A very good evening. Welcome to our special show GE2020 Today, coming to you every night during this election season. I'm Haryanto Diman.
And I'm Michelle Martin from Money FM 89.3. You can subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you never miss a single episode.
You know, Michelle, we've just one more day left of campaigning. It's crunch time for candidates fighting for every single seat and every single vote. In Sengkang, a brand new GRC and one of the most keenly watched contests, the People's Action Party and Workers' Party are stepping up efforts to engage with residents.
In tonight's political broadcast, the PAP's Chee and the WP's Jamus Lim put forward their plans for Sengkang.
We want you and your children to have a good future, to have good opportunities to progress and live a good life in Sengkang. We hear also your desire to build Sengkang into a better home for ourselves. If we are elected, the first thing we'll do is to form the Sengkang Together movement to co-develop our Sengkang town together. As part of this, we will set up a new Sengkang Town Council to better serve your municipal needs.
Let me remind you of what we offer. We don't just want more of the same, more covered walkways, more lift upgrades. We also want to tackle issues that truly matter to the people in Sengkang, relieving bottlenecks in childcare centres, dedicated paths for bicycles and PMDs, and more neighbourhood spaces. We will do so with a new town council. And this system will draw on the experience of our history in Punggol East and our management of other Workers' Party wards, which are just as good, if not better, than those run by the PAP.
This morning, Workers' Party leaders joined the Sengkang team for a walkabout, and our multimedia correspondent Sam Joe was there.
It's the penultimate day of general election campaigning, and we are here in Sengkang at Rivervale Plaza, where Workers' Party candidates for the newly formed Sengkang GRC are in the middle of a walkabout. Earlier, the candidates took questions from the media and addressed a wide range of issues, including Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong's call for support to handle the COVID-19 crisis. Party Chairman Sylvia Lim described this as a false choice.
Yesterday, PM Lee gave an e-rally at Fullerton. He's asking for all voters nationwide to give him and his party a very strong mandate so that they can handle COVID-19 effectively. Now, I think this is a false choice being presented to voters. And if you look at what's been happening around the world, you will see that there are actually many examples of countries that have been dealing quite effectively with the virus, who are robust democracies. I mean, we just have to take a look at Taiwan, New Zealand. In New Zealand, in fact, the Prime Minister, her own party doesn't even have a majority of the MPs in the parliament. And the fact is that Singaporeans know that when there is a need to come together, they will. And they will support the government in handling the COVID-19 crisis, regardless of who they vote into parliament.
The WP team contesting Sengkang GRC is made up of Ms. He Ting Ru, Ms. Raisa Khan, Dr. Jamus Lim, and Mr. Louis Chua.
Yes, you know, we are a young team. Everyone knows that we comprise young parents, so all of our children are actually under 4. So we feel that, you know, there are a lot of young families in Singapore. We're all living through the same worries and the same joys together with them. So I think there's a natural fit. But apart from the fact that we're being young, I don't think that's something that should really count against us. You know, if you look at the teams individually and collectively, we do have a lot of experience, both internationally.
Voters will decide who will helm the newly formed Sengkang GRC on July 10th.
Meanwhile, the PAP's Soon Sherling is hoping for a double celebration on Friday. Victory on polling day, which also happens to be her 41st birthday. Ms. Soon is the incumbent MP in the new Punggol West single-member constituency, where she'll face first-time candidate from the Workers' Party, Ms. Tan Chen Chen.
Family issues are high on the agenda in Punggol West, as 2/3 of its residents are below the age of 40. The two candidates spoke in tonight's political broadcast.
I hope to continue to serve you, provide assistance, and work with you for our children's future. I know that our young families are concerned about cost of living. So in 2017, with your inputs, I pushed for more affordable milk powder options. And in 2019, I pushed for more childcare subsidies and more government-supported childcare options.
I'm married with a 3-month-old baby. I'm contesting in this election because I believe a government needs to be accountable to its people. In order to achieve this, we need to have a strong opposition in the parliament to question policy.
Over in the single ward of Potong Pasir, the PAP's Mr. Sito Yipin is seeking his 3rd term as MP.
He faces a challenge from first-time candidate Mr. Jose Raymond, chairman of the Singapore People's Party.
I want our children to grow up in a neighborhood where they are equipped with everything they need, from tuition lessons to holiday enrichment programs and many more. To our middle-aged residents, I say, don't worry. We will always be here for you. We will create ample, meaningful programs for you and your family members. To our senior citizens, I say, age well and live happily. I want the healthcare needs of our senior citizens to be well taken care of and for them to live fulfilling golden years.
We can either opt for status quo, or we can look forward to a new dawn and new beginnings. What is the kind of Singapore do we leave behind for our children and our grandchildren? Can we allow a parliament without diverse voices and devoid of political debate? Singapore and Singaporeans are best served through political competition. Your choice on the 10th of July will determine the kind of future we build for Singapore and for all Singaporeans.
You know, Michelle, the only independent candidate contesting in the general election also pitched in as well. Now, he said he wants to be the 3rd option for Singaporeans besides the PAP and the opposition parties.
Tonight, he made his pitch to voters in Pioneer SMC, where he faces 2-term PAP MP Patrick Tay and Progress Singapore Party candidate Lim Che Hong.
It is not out of delusion for me to stand up as an independent. The sole purpose for politics must be to serve the people. The choice for you is simple. Choose either the same old stuck and stuck up PAP or the refreshing alternatives. Cast aside PAP and compare the 2 other fresh offers. I'm sure you are smart enough to know the better choice is me. Dear Pioneer voters, when the chums are not around, Chiang must stand out and be counted.
The Chiams he's referring to are former opposition MP Mr. Chiam Si Tong and his wife Lena Chiam, who for the first time since 1976 are both not contesting in a general election. Potong Pasir was a stronghold of Mr. Chiam's for 27 years until 2011.
Now moving on, PAP incumbent Murali Pillai says Bukit Batok needs a leader with a strong record of service. Addressing residents at an e-rally tonight, he highlighted the community initiatives he and his team have put in place since 2016 when he won a by-election.
What is my motivation? It is simple. Bukit Batok has become a big part of my life after 20 years. I've grown attached to you and our community leaders. I want to ensure that the Bukit Batok legacy under the stewardship of my predecessors is not in any way undermined, but instead strengthened to keep up with the challenges of the future.
Taking a different tack, Mr. Pillai's opponent, Dr. Chee Juan of the Singapore Democratic Party, who also held an online rally focused on a broader issue. Hitting on a familiar point, he criticized the government for what he calls wasteful spending and used an example featuring a familiar foe to highlight his point.
Now take a look at this picture. It shows Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan at a National Day parade in 2018. Look at the TV monitor in front of him. Why can't the ministers just look up to see what's going on? And if they cannot see the parade, use their binoculars. Why do you need to install a special TV monitor for the ministers?
Dr. Chee and Dr. Balakrishnan clashed last week in a TV debate over Singapore's population size.
National Development Minister Lawrence Wong said the COVID-19 task force has handled the crisis well. He was responding to a question earlier today about how voters will assess the task force's performance and whether this will affect PAP's vote share in the election.
We have been able to bring down infection rates in the community significantly and protected many Singaporeans, especially the vulnerable ones. And we have been able to achieve a fatality rate which is amongst the lowest in the world. Where the cases in the dormitories are concerned, we have mounted a huge effort.
The government's management of the COVID-19 situation has become a political issue in recent days, with opposition candidates questioning if the situation could have been better handled. The issue of jobs is also high on the election agenda. Senior Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam said that Singapore's jobless rate would have shot up if the government had not acted decisively at the onset of the pandemic. Less than 10,000 Singaporeans have lost their jobs since the crisis.
The senior minister said that if Singapore had seen the same spike in unemployment as in Hong Kong and Germany, as many as 70,000 people here would be out of work. Or worse, 250,000 becoming jobless if Singapore had the same rise in unemployment as the US.
Mr. Tharman went on to say that the crisis has made social cohesion an even more important issue and that Singapore must build a more inclusive society post-COVID.
The aim of all our strategies, economic, social, is to have a more fair and just society where young people have hope regardless of what social backgrounds they come from, regardless of who they were born to, regardless of how they start off life, where everyone can advance in their careers, regardless of what qualifications they start with, and where our seniors can look forward to living life fully in retirement and living life with a sense of security.
Looking ahead, Mr. Tharman said it's important that Singaporeans continue to work together and take collective responsibility for each other.
Now on to other news. This evening, the police confirmed that reports were launched on Monday against Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee Keat regarding his remarks about whether Singapore was ready for a non-Chinese Prime Minister. The Attorney General's chambers have since clarified that DPM Heng's remarks were non-offensive and that in the context they were made do not evidence any intent to wound anyone's racial feelings or promote enmity between different races.
The Elections Department says it's categorically not true that the marks made by self-inking pens on ballot papers will simply disappear. The ELD said this in response to social media posts and messages falsely claiming that the material was treated to render any marks invisible after several minutes.
The department said self-inking pens at all polling stations will leave a permanent mark and that such pens have also been used in other countries' elections. Voters may choose to bring their own pens on polling day.
With the safety of the voting process being a priority, the ELD said that ballot papers are printed under tight security conditions and are no different from past elections.
Now let's take a look at what's trending on social media. If you're playing the hit simulation game Animal Crossing, you may just run into an avatar of PSP Chief Tan Cheng Bock. This mini digital version of Dr. Tan wears the party's uniform complete with logo and a mask for safety. The PSP's official Instagram page reposted a picture of the avatar, which was taken by a young netizen.
No one can resist the charm of cute, fluffy animals, and candidates have been making use of them to melt voters' hearts. Workers' Party candidate Mr. Chua Keng Wee was seen posing with a ginger cat and a white poodle that have apparently endorsed his campaign.
Oh, that's adorable. Now at Telok Kurau, WP's Mr. Yi Jen Jong took a wee-fee with otters swimming in a canal behind him.
Meanwhile, PAP's candidate Ms. Tin Pei Ling took to Instagram stories to share her excitement upon meeting a brown Shiba Inu.
And Mr. Louis Ng, PAP candidate contesting in Nee Soon GRC, recounted his time serving residents, including a neighborhood cat called Annie. Annie was there for Mr. Ng when he first became an MP 5 years ago and has continued to let him pet her ever since.
Before we go, a reminder that you can watch GE2020 Editor's Take at 1 p.m. and The Big Story at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday.
You can also follow Anstey's full coverage of Singapore GE2020 on our microsite and get the latest happenings on the ground on our live blog. Our blog has real-time updates about the general election, including special reports, analysis and videos.
ST also has a new video series out on our YouTube channel called 5 Questions. The leaders of the 4 biggest political parties share why their parties deserve your vote.
Once again, I'm Haryanto Diman.
And I'm Michelle Martin from Money FM 89.3.
Join us again for more election highlights tomorrow at 10 p.m.
And in Marine Parade, I spend time because I want to be sure that my good work over here will be continued. And I have found a very good successor in Dr. Tan Sri Leng.
So I don't think people should worry that whether this new team is able to manage or to be able to send up a kind of scrutiny